Hello and welcome back to Lorehammer. My name is Eric.
Hey there, hi there. That's what I normally say, right?
I know it is, and normally I introduce you, but I'm not doing it this time.
Oh, well,
Who are you?
people know me. They feel me in their very core.
No, don't like that.
What's more important is who we got with us.
That is actually a very, very, very important thing, because joining back with us today is someone who has not been with us for over 6 months.
What a glorious 6 months it's been.
You could say.
I was saying it was a terrible 6
Oh, is that the direction we're going?
Yeah. There has never been a bigger dip in our podcast download numbers in a positive way than right now in the past 6 months.
There's never been a
But
bigger
joining
dip.
us today is Jordan.
What's up, y'all?
Oh, is
Jordan
that-
all the way from Texas.
It happened.
like it.
He went native.
Don't you know you get a Texas accent?
Oh, you ever
You
seen
spend 3 months in
those
the great
videos?
state
It's
of
like,
Texas?
this is me one day after living in Tennessee. It's like, this is me 5 weeks after living in Tennessee. And then the last one is like, hee, which one of y'all is fucking my cousin?
Sorry, Tennessee.
Yeah. I've never been to Tennessee. I don't know. Maybe they're all great.
Yeah.
Maybe they're all one big happy family. No? Anyways, the last person who we haven't even is Skyler joining us today. Yeah.
Guys.
Dragged you back.
It wasn't even that long since
It
you were
was
on
like
last.
one episode,
No.
I think.
Was
Or
it?
2
Yeah,
episodes.
he was on the Grot episode.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it wasn't
God,
that long
yeah.
ago.
Yeah, I didn't even remember until like I remembered.
Well,
Well, fuck me, right?
he's just not that inspiring. I don't know.
No, I know I'm not.
No,
That's the problem.
we recorded an episode, and normally we have every 2 weeks we record, but then we recorded like a single week after, so it's been almost a month since we've last recorded.
Yeah, that's a while.
So it feels like a very long time
Oh, I
since
see.
we've actually recorded an episode, and so many things have happened.
Yeah.
So many Warhammer things.
Really?
I mean,
What?
yeah, you bought Tyranids.
Oh, well,
Ooh,
you
you
know.
bought Tyranids?
Oh, you're getting it.
That's awesome.
I'm getting into everything. I got fingers in every pot, you
What's
know?
Johnny gonna think about that?
I haven't told him yet. I just want him to one day
Are you
show
gonna
up.
break the news to him?
Well, I don't want to tell him until it's all fully painted. He just shows up.
And there's a complete
Yeah.
army.
See, John, it wasn't that hard.
You can do it.
It's not that bad. Turns out all you gotta do is not be a Lutz to finish something. It's not fucking hard.
I mean, that is kind of a problem they have. So.
It's a major disability.
It is.
The Lutz genome. We can only hope and pray it doesn't get passed on.
Me, Eric, and Christian were in a group chat, and Christian's like, talk to me, guys, I'm bored. And then Eric's like, isn't your wife in Kelowna? I'm like, he's also in Kelowna.
I was like, oh, he's bored. It's because he's home alone.
Yeah.
Right? There's
No,
nothing
no.
to occupy him. No, he's on vacation with his wife and their 2 babies.
Oh, really? But he's bored.
Yeah.
He's texting us.
Like, dude, put down your phone, you doofus.
You lutz.
Love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking love it.
But before we get into our episode, we actually have a very long list of new patrons.
Oh,
Like a very long list. So
why would they give money to us?
I don't know.
They're expecting something back. I don't know what they're expecting,
Yeah.
but
I gave feet pics. I give each and every one of these people a feet picture signed by me.
Nice little handy. Get a nice little handy job.
A footy.
Yeah, I was just going to say. That's so
So I'm going to run down the list. And so our new patrons we have are Jonathan, Darkside Bunny. Okay. Harry, Isaac, Lane, Jeremy, Ken, Willer, Matthew, Joseph, Mike, Duncan, Paul, Trey, another Jonathan, and Jen. So that is, I don't know if I can count, but it's 2, 4,
That's
6,
up to the letter
8,
P
10,
of
12,
people.
14. That is 16 new patrons since we last recorded, which is awesome.
that's a solid $16 in our pocket.
Oh,
that we have to
well,
split between
hold on.
3 people.
No. To not give people the wrong idea, Mark. We don't take money from this.
Oh yes, we use this to launder other money.
Right, exactly.
Yes,
Yes, we use
yes.
this for our
Yes.
mafia dealing.
Yes.
And our Bitcoin payouts.
Perfect.
We're the ones keeping Bitcoin afloat.
Pretty much.
That's right. No, we're
Bitcoin's
actually
going way up.
yeah
Seeing,
in
yeah.
the past couple months.
Oh, really? It's
I bought
kinda
some
going-
like a long time ago, like
Yeah.
over a year and a half ago, and I just forgot about it. And like 2 weeks ago, I was like, I wonder what that's sitting at right now.
It's like, oh, it's more.
It dipped down really low, after I had bought it.
Yeah, yeah.
So at this point, I'm like even, and I'm
yeah.
satisfied with that. That's not bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, what we do with Patreon money is we are constantly brainstorming ideas in ways that we can give more content.
Yeah, and that's about where the process ends.
Yep.
We brainstorm ideas.
And then we shake each other's hands, say good day, and walk
Good day,
away.
sir.
And
I will see you in 2 weeks to record.
That's right. Yeah. So we have a couple ideas that we're working on right now, and I'm kind of excited for some new things we're looking at, but we can't promise anything, and you will not say
Me and my flappy mouth.
oh, you almost did it.
It involves opening a petting zoo, okay? There, I said it. You guys can look forward to the official Lorehammer petting zoo.
The only animal in there to pet is Mark.
Christian. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Son of a bitch.
So I actually got something submitted to us from a guy named Brett. And he said, hey, Brett here. Just wanted to say I love your podcast. Thank you so much, Brett, for the love. And I think it's super informative. Okay, you don't have to lie. I had a funny story you could use for a 40K's Not Funny. So I am going to read the story that Brett wrote to us. Acadian Guard Regiment was defending a planet from an orc invasion. After more than a year of bloody conflict, the Guard had been driven back to a single city, and ammo was running short. Eventually, sections of the line were overrun as Guardsmen's las weapons and heavy bolters stopped firing, their ammunition completely dry. One squad watched as this happened, each soldier knowing that they would eventually share the fate of their comrades. One Cadian's lasgun clicked, empty, then his neighbors, and soon the whole squad fell silent, the war bearing down on their position. One soldier shouted to the captain, "Sir, ammunition has run out. We're sitting ducks." The captain shouted back, "Aye, but the greenskins don't know that." He walked to the front of the squad and said, "Follow my lead, men." He pulled out his las pistol, pointed it at the lead charging boy, and said, "Bang!" The boy fell over, dead as a doorknob. The rest of the squad quickly caught on, pointing their las guns at the orcs and yelling, "Bang!" Other squads around them joined in, heavy weapons teams swiveling heavy boulders, rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. Men miming pulling pins off of rocks, throwing them and yelling, "Boom!" when they hit the ground, sending boys in the dozens catapulting into the air. The strategy seemed to be working, and the tide seemed to shift in the guard's favor, until a group of boys appearing in the center of the orcs' front line. Standing shoulder to shoulder, chest to back, 6 orcs marched slowly forward. None of the guardsmen's attacks seemed to affect the group. "Focus fire on that group!" screamed the captain as the orcs slowly bore down on his squad, but even grenades did not bother them in the slightest. When the orcs were only 10 meters away, the captain changed his strategy. "Fix bayonets, men! Charge!" The squad leapt up from their trench and ran to meet the 6 orcs. The first 2 men came within arm's reach of the 2 boys and suddenly bounced backwards. The next 2 guardsmen were knocked aside, and the rest trampled underfoot by the orcs. The last thing the captain heard as he too was trampled was the orcs chanting under their breath, "Tank, tank, 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 tank." The planet fell within the day. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Delightful.
That was really, really good.
It's so uplifting and then so bleak.
Yeah, welcome to 40K. We'll give you a saint and then we'll kill her every 30 seconds.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, let's get right into the episode.
Yeah. This episode is about the Crypts.
Yep.
And the blood.
The Crypts and the Bloods. I don't think any of us are an authority.
Oh, I know all about black culture.
Yeah, okay.
I don't
Seriously.
think. All right. Well, today's episode is all about Crypts of the Necron. We're going to explore what is on a Tomb World.
Yeah, so the last time we did a Necron episode, we talked about dynasties, and that encompasses...
We talked about like their personalities, right?
Yeah, and like what a dynasty encompasses, and
who's in a dynasty, what does it make?
Worlds.
Yes, and Tomb Worlds exist within a dynasty. So The first thing we're going to talk about is, what do the Tomb World do?
Oh, a Tomb World do exist to protect the Necron race from their long slumber.
Yes. So these guys who have been sleeping for 60 million years all reside in these Tomb Worlds. And so there's these vast crypts deep under like the crust layer of these planets, and they are hidden through, arcane technology, which is pure technology, pure science, and protected by terrifying creatures and masterful programs.
Yeah. And these were all like established like 60 million years ago. So they're very ancient. So even if they weren't hidden, just even time would hide all these. So you could be on a Tomb World and you might not even know it.
Right.
Because it's just
it's old.
Lost
it's
in
60
time.
million years.
Yeah.
That's going to change the topography of any planet.
Like you wouldn't even see.
No, you would not.
anything.
And you're not
Even if they
going
had-
deep enough to find them.
It would be covered in sediment. And whatnot.
Exactly. Yeah. So these master programs run the many creatures that are used to maintain and protect the stasis pods of the Necron. These Necron are defenseless as they wait for their protocols to awaken them.
So Tomb Worlds are home to an untold number of Necron who are slowly beginning their awakening. They've been in the process of awakening for around 2,000 years now, but each Tomb World goes at a different rate, or some just haven't even started awakening yet.
Yeah.
So it is a very slow process to bring these robots back to life.
So I'm not very well educated, but I've been told that like gravity affects time and stuff. And like you'd think that they'd program all the Necron to like awaken at the same time. Like why would you want them to kind of sporadically wake up over 2,000 years? But like time affects every planet differently according to science and gravity. And if you have a watch and Jordan has a watch and you both set it to the exact same time, in 50 years like our watches will be different, even if they're perfect watches.
Yeah, because of like theory of relativity.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So it's like that's why they're all waking up differently.
Yeah.
I heard that once. And I thought science is fun.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
I
So-
think though that might be more contributed to entropy than gravity.
I don't know. I'm not a Scientologist, so I just don't know.
Where's Tom Cruise when you need him?
Just
How
don't
low are
know.
your thetans right now?
I don't know. I can't.
How
measure
are your
it.
negative ions? Are they good?
I don't
Do
know.
you need a balancing bracelet?
All I know about ions is how
how are
ion
your
cannons.
chakras doing?
Yeah.
Oh, those I know all about. Those are perfectly aligned.
My 7 pools.
Yeah. So yeah, they're awakening all across the galaxy. They've all been set to wake up at a general rough time, and now they're all kind of waking up.
Yes, now their process begins.
Yeah.
So there are 3 types of Tomb Worlds, and we actually previously talked about these in our last episode, 39, but we'll just do a quick rundown in case you skipped ahead like an idiot. So the first we have...
Necron episode, pass.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, no one loves Necron as much as I love Necron, right? So the first one we have are our crown worlds. So these were once the pinnacle of Necron power. They were the seat of power for old ruling families, and as such, they had greater access to defenses and fortifications. So if there was Necron that were sleeping there, they woke in like a really good status and health. They were hardly even touched by the millennia, just because they had all the best defenses on their planets and the best equipment and technology to keep them safe.
Yeah.
So crown worlds are run by overlords or even pharaohs if the dynasty is large enough.
Sure.
So these are like your...
They're
like
the
Terra
capitals,
is
yeah.
a crown
Sure,
world, right?
sure. Yeah, they're the capital worlds.
Yeah.
Next, they have core worlds, and all of these are tomb worlds.
Yeah.
So, core world. These worlds are next of importance to crown worlds, and these would form the heart of the Necron dynasty. Core worlds are most likely ruled by lords. So it's just the next tier.
Yeah. Not as good technology, not as good stasis crypts, but they still have them.
Yeah.
And then the last one we have are fringe worlds. So these are on the outskirts of a dynasty, and they're not considered as important. They're being very far from the physical location of the court of the dynasty.
Yeah.
So these are often poor and distant colonies, commonly used for manual labor and mining and like resource generation, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So not important at all, but they still have crypts of Necron in them.
Yeah. And
So much generation.
yeah.
Sorry about that.
So that's what we talked about in the last episode. Now this is where it gets all new. Now that we know the types of types of tomb worlds. So
Yeah.
there's two common misconceptions about tomb worlds. Like normally when people picture tomb worlds, you think of this like dead barren wasteland,
A desert or like cracked rock, or like
Exactly.
Mars. People think of like what we think of Mars right now.
Yeah,
It's just this like
exactly.
red
Desolate
planet.
Exactly. But it's not. Yeah, exactly. They think tomb world, that the world is dead.
A tomb, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it's actually the structure that makes a tomb world. So you can have like a jungle, a beautiful verdant jungle with a tomb world in it, or you could have,
We could have a hive city.
a hive city with a tomb world on it.
Yeah,
Really?
it is a tomb world. That's
Yeah.
just the classification of it. It just also happened to have these other things on top of it.
Yeah.
It's not a dead world.
No,
No,
not at all.
exactly. It's not a
necessarily,
dead world.
but it
It's
could be a dead world.
Sure, it could
right?
be.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
Gotcha.
there's no reason that there would be a higher percentage of dead world tomb worlds. Like it's not like the Necron before they went to sleep. They
They
blasted-
radiated all the plants or
and even
anything.
if they did, it's been 60 million years. Like
things are growing back.
it could be entirely different. So yeah.
But yeah, that is a common, I think, thought is when you think of tomb worlds, you think of a barren wasteland, but there's no reason why that's how it is.
Yeah, just be creative with your lore. It doesn't have to be this barren place.
Yeah.
So the other thing, this isn't really a misconception, just kind of our thoughts on Necron crystals and what exactly they are. You kind of see them scattered across a couple
Terrain pieces and bases.
especially, but like you even see it in the official Games Workshop model line.
Yep.
Like the Necron.
Like you look at the Overlord.
Overlord has one. Yeah, he's stepping on one.
Yep.
Or the monolith. You see him across, and there's no real like, what are these? Why
There's
does
no
every,
solid explanation.
yeah? Why does every tomb world seem to have these? Why do all Necron players base their models with these like crystals? And like they use the crystals as like a focusing crystal. We know what they use it for, but we don't know where it comes from or
What are the
why it's always
chances
there.
that every single Necron tomb world has this formation
Yeah.
of crystal on it?
Yeah, exactly. So what I was thinking was I was playing around with the idea that it's a byproduct of the energy that powers the tomb world. So like they're deep underground, these tomb worlds, and just like the pulsing hum of the Necron energy like does something to the surrounding.
It's like waste.
Yeah, it could even be waste. It could be it does something to elements around it. Who knows?
Yeah,
what it
they're
would
also
be.
known for changing substances, like
Yeah.
like in alchemy. So
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what I lean towards. But again, this is not confirmed. But
Yeah.
I like to think that it's some byproduct of the Necron tomb world's energy, some type of waste.
Yeah, it definitely makes more sense for it to be unnaturally occurring than naturally occurring.
Yeah, exactly. It just, like you said, it doesn't make sense that every tomb world would have these crystals on it, unless there's
because
some
almost
other.
every like the tomb worlds span the entire galaxy.
Yeah.
like other than like humanity,
Yeah.
they probably have touched like more planets because the Eldar
Sure.
are now sequestered on their craft worlds, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So
And the other thing about these crystals too is they come in different colors too. That is directly related to
The power.
the power of the Necron energy.
yeah, so
I
the
guess.
Thocht dynasty, like
Yeah.
they commonly use like blue energy in their guns, and you'll see blue crystals around them.
Yeah,
Right. So,
but like
it's-
why?
Right. Why are those
Why, Eric?
blue and green?
You're the
I don't
Necron
know.
guy.
I don't know. No one told me. But another kind of thought we had is, so it is a synthetic creation of the Necron, but instead of being like a byproduct or an accident, but it might be actually intentional.
Yeah.
And they are creating these crystals to use because their weapons require it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the other thought we had.
Yeah, and it's just like they growing the crystals would
Yeah.
be the right word, but
they grow. You grow crystals.
Oh, sure, these are words I'm not aware of.
Have you never grown like
Yeah,
a
you
rock
can grow
salt
them.
or something?
Yeah, it's like a real thing. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, crystals like technically that's how they're made. They grow. Yeah.
The only thing I
Even
know
in
about
nature.
crystals is the ones you shove up your yoo-hoo for good vibes and whatnot.
Oh, you shove it up your yoo-hoo?
I personally don't know. I don't have one. I have a yeehaw, but it's too small to shove anything up though.
Why are you guys saying things that I don't understand? I'm right.
Have you never heard of people who shove crystals in their body for good vibes?
I mean, this is the first time I've heard it, but I'm
I've
not
heard of people,
surprised.
like snorting crystals up their nose.
that's also good times.
Ah, yes, the good old meth.
Yeah, but so
No, I think you smoke meth.
Well, you can
Crystal
you
meth.
can snort it too.
Really?
Yeah.
You can do anything.
I mean, you're gonna do whatever you need to get that good, delicious,
You can shoot it up in your arm too. Like you can, but yeah, most people do smoke
peel it off your skin and eat it.
Yeah.
Whatever you fucking want to
That's
do.
my favorite.
That's our favorite.
Yeah, my favorite is when you get a scab because you smoke so much of it, and then you just pick it off of the scab and re-smoke it. That's the best.
It's
That
it's
and that's
free,
a real thing.
It's efficient.
Yeah, it's very efficient.
Very
it's already
efficient.
like been filtered through your body, so it's
Ooh.
like pure when you pick it off your scab. And I don't know.
It's natural.
It's so natural.
You may as well go natural if you're going to be doing hard drugs.
My God.
Yeah. So
Sorry to any crackheads out there.
no, they're not really paying attention.
Yeah.
They're
They might.
Too
We might
busy
have some
smoking
crackhead
crack.
fans.
sure they're probably more concerned about the crack though. I think than listening to us.
Yeah.
Hey, we are like crack for your ears. Okay.
But you can't pick us off and re-smoke us.
I mean, I'm not opposed to you trying.
Might be.
Sorry.
So, yeah, you're saying it's a synthetic thing that they actually make or grow.
Yeah.
And they just like it.
Kind of makes me think of Superman Returns, how they use crystals to like store data and like, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
rearrange things to power them. That's
Sure.
what it makes me feel like. I don't really like that, but that's what the vibe I get.
And that's all right
Like
too.
that's like the Fortress of Solitude.
Yes,
Yeah, it
exactly.
has
Well,
that,
he like you put a crystal here, and all of a sudden the light shows up, and
But like the actual whole structure is
It's a
like,
crystal.
and
It
it
was
contains
birthed.
information. Like, it's like a computer almost. Yeah.
so that's the feeling I get. But I'm not sure if I fully subscribe to that.
yeah, it just then these crystals would only be on Tomb Worlds
Because
for
they
sure.
would specifically be
Yeah.
putting them there instead of finding worlds with them.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense than like it definitely is not natural.
It can't be.
No,
it just
can't be.
It just doesn't make sense.
impossible.
But so if anyone does know kind of the origins, we did some Google searches. We couldn't find anything like what the deal is. Obviously, message us and let us know. But I don't
Maybe
know.
someone's read a book or something.
It's possible.
Not a lot of Necron books out
There's
there.
so much 40K content though. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of sparse for
You guys
Xenos,
haven't read
but-
every single book?
I haven't read a book.
You
Every book and comic and video game.
and video, and computer game.
Yeah.
Audiobooks.
Don't
they
tell
do audio
people
dramas.
these things. We don't
Every
know
audio
anything.
drama.
But let's go into what makes something a planet specifically a tomb world. Other than the stasis crypts on there, like what are these crypts filled with, and how do they operate?
Yeah. So most of the Tomb World is filled with Necron, but there are other things in the Tomb World. So the first thing we're going to talk about are master programs.
Yes, and so master programs are responsible. So master programs are one of the truest examples of artificial intelligence in the galaxy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So other than the Men of Iron, which don't exist presumably anymore, other than that new one in Blackstone Fortress.
But yeah.
Whether or not he is, we don't know. But other than them, like this is, and maybe the Tau, who
They have some
they
types
have
of
some,
AI.
but these guys, like the more you delve into like what they do, the more you truly understand that they are alive in a certain sense.
Yeah.
So they were created over 60 million years ago, and their primary purpose was essential maintenance and defense of the Tomb World, and it would use its judgments to allocate resources accordingly. So it was responsible for the running of these massive crypts and tombs that were housed in these tomb worlds.
Yeah.
Just a single program.
It's these should have been called custodians, right?
Right.
Is that what we decided
That's
on?
what we were looking at titles for the episode, and we're like, oh, like custodians of the Necron.
Yeah.
They're
That's
more
great.
custodians than the custodies.
We'd probably get more listens than naming it Necron episodes or whatever we
Oh, if we called it custodies.
Yeah, people would be very
100%.
disappointed
Yes.
when they listen. But
Nathan would be pretty chuffed if he saw that.
so these master programs that command the canoptic creatures.
Oh, I need to actually change that. Canoptic constructs.
Yes, I
Sorry,
guess.
Marcus.
Canoptic constructs of the world, either in repairs or construction or in the defense of their sleeping masters.
Yep.
So they build these robots, I guess. They're not
They're
Necron
like
in
their
shape or-
appendages
Yeah.
that it uses to administer what it needs
Yeah.
to the world.
Yeah. Master programs can even reach off-planet to listen to signals from other tomb worlds. The extent of this communication is unknown, but they can sense the energy surges of a planet, of Necron technology on other planets.
Yeah, on other planets.
Yeah.
So this was kind of like a weird moment to think of, like, could these master programs,
These 60 million year old master programs,
have they been talking with each other from planet to planet for 60 million years?
Oh, man.
and like they're so intelligent too. Like,
Yes,
they,
and
there's
they're
no,
ancient.
They're ancient. There's no limit on like what they could kind of accomplish.
The
Yeah.
thought of a 60 million year old AI,
Yeah.
just in our
Talking
own,
with
in our,
another
in
one.
our terms,
Yeah.
talking to another one, that would basically be God. That would be like gods talking to each
That's
other.
exactly
Yeah.
what these are, these master programs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it only gets so much cooler. It's so cool. It only gets
Yeah.
cooler. Okay.
So freaking cool.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a basic understanding of what these master programs are.
They were built by the Necron
Yeah.
to protect and repair the tomb worlds when the Necron
while they're
was slumbering.
sleeping. Yeah. So the next thing that they would do, if the Necron aren't sleeping, then they're starting to awaken.
Yeah.
Well, no, if they're not
Yes,
if they're not
yes.
sleeping and if they're not under attack, then they're being awakened.
What do you always say? You either are a potato.
Well, everything in the world is either a potato or not a potato. That's it.
That's the two categories.
Jordan, are you a potato or not a potato?
I'm not a potato.
Well, see, there we go.
The system works.
It works.
All hail
What an
potato.
efficient way to categorize.
That's right. That's right.
I think we just invented a meme, boys.
Jordan's not a potato.
Okay, so we're going to quickly talk about how a master program awakens a dynasty.
Yeah.
So when the master program senses that the time is right, or its internal clock kicks in, or whatever it dictates that it needs to awaken, it slowly starts to revive its systems to prepare for the return of a dynasty. This is not a quick process at all because there's so much to do.
Yeah. I don't know what there is to do.
It just, and
But-
anytime the process that these Necron are revived, it just says there's so many steps and
Yeah.
so much are involved in each mind of each Necron
Yeah.
that it just takes time.
Yeah.
So you don't screw it up.
Sure.
Right. It's
Yeah.
like
It's probably-
it's like a slow awakening. Like if you go in stasis and you're sleeping for 300 years and you come back, are you running sprints in 5 minutes?
All I know is I'm not a potato at that point. What I do
that's
beyond
good.
that, I don't know.
That's good. But I think it's just like how we would take time to acclimate our body.
Sure.
Like, so Necron need that as well.
Sure.
Well, even imagine like booting up a computer that has that is processing information like a quadrillion times
More than we can even imagine.
Yeah, like
There's just 100 desktop icons too that it has to fucking load.
yeah,
Oh, fork bomb.
that's sort of how
Just a simple.
It's a fork bomb.
that's kind of how I see it, but like
Yeah, for sure.
it's just like it's like booting up, and it would take a while probably.
What Windows OS are they running? That's a real question.
98.
Oh no! It's gonna take forever.
Very advanced AI.
So,
But another reason that it takes so long is because the Tomb World isn't active in these moments, right? Like the Tomb World isn't running its systems and lights and like air conditioning or whatever, all like the unused parts of the tomb crypts or whatever, while the Necron are sleeping, because it doesn't need them.
Yeah.
Right. So it has it's running a planet essentially, and so
Yeah.
it takes a long time to wake up this planet.
Yeah, and I guess too, even just like the scale of Tomb Worlds is massive.
Yeah.
Like,
Millions upon billions of Necron on a single
Yeah.
planet need to be
Okay.
woken up.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask that.
yeah, like especially if you're on like a
crown world,
world, like
Yeah.
it could literally be the entire planet is a Tomb World and not just like a city
Sure.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Could be entire populations.
Has anyone ever in the story like explored a sleeping tomb world?
That's like a really cool horror story.
Yeah, totally.
Setting within 40K as
Oh,
people
okay.
exploring
Yeah,
them,
that makes
but
sense.
it never ends well for them.
Yeah, for
which
sure.
we'll
Of course
find out.
Yeah, for
there
sure.
there is so when I think we talk about this a little later, but when you're powering up the Tomb World, it sends off like huge energy signals across sectors of space or whatever. So lots of explorers will lock onto these signals like, what is this? They don't know it's Necron, so they'll go and
But it's just
actually-
massive energy.
Yeah,
signals.
like just random like explorers will go and find Tomb Worlds and go inside because
Yeah.
people don't know like when you're in 40k, like we all assume that everyone knows what a Necron is. I don't think anyone really knows what a Necron
Yeah,
is.
it's true.
Like,
No, maybe the Inquisition. That's about it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and maybe some
Space Marines and
Space
maybe
Marines
some
are-
guard regiments.
Exactly, it's not common knowledge.
No.
Yeah,
so-
well, with such a vast galaxy and so
Exactly.
much time between when they wake up and go to sleep and
Yeah,
stuff. It's,
and just imagine you're some minor Xenos, even like
Yeah.
and like you're not even off world yet. And
Sure,
then
yeah.
picking
You're
up
stuck
these-
on your planet.
Yeah, and then
all
you
of a
pick up
sudden,
these signatures from below. You're like, what the heck? And
Yeah.
you're screwed.
you're screwed. But yeah, they're also known to have like high technology down there. So there are
If
like,
you know what it is,
Yeah.
you covet that technology.
yeah. So there are certain organizations like the Death Watch who are Space Marine Xenos hunters who will go down there and explore. And yeah, it's pretty
Okay.
cool.
Yeah. So Mark was talking about these like massive amounts of energy, and it's actually at this moment that the Tomb World is in the most danger because they're devoting so much of their energy to resurrecting all these Necron while also setting off a flare that says, "Here's something cool is happening." Over here." So, yeah, hey guys.
it's almost like a animal in the wild, like during gestation or something.
Sure, yeah.
They're like super weak and vulnerable,
And
or they
sexy.
have or they have.
Agreed.
Well, I don't disagree.
My only question is it a potato?
It might be. Some potatoes are sexy.
Yeah, but yeah, that totally would make sense. It would be kind of vulnerable during that time.
this is
during the
the-
gestation period.
Yeah,
so to
absolutely.
speak,
It's
yeah.
birthing its dynasty
Yeah,
back
yeah.
alive, right?
Yeah,
Um,
and because of this, the first Necron warrior, or the first to awaken in the Tomb World, is not like the Lord or anything. They just awaken warriors first, the most basic.
Yeah.
And then they would branch out to immortals, and then they slowly work their way up the Necron hierarchy until, like, I would assume the last person would be like the Lord or the
Yes.
Overlord or the Pharaoh.
The thing is, like, they might even start awakening them all at the same time. It just is there's so much more to load into
Yeah,
an
yeah.
overlord's and lord's mind.
Yeah, yeah.
While they're awakening, like the warrior, like takes nothing compared to the lord.
Yeah,
to
for
wake
sure.
up. So there's it's even accounts of like as a lord is like being awakened doesn't matter. He's actually starting to take over and like running some commands while he's still sleeping because his mind is like working. He just hasn't fully loaded everything he's capable of yet.
He hasn't used motor skills programs yet.
.exe, yeah, no, not yet.
Okay.
So another good reason why the warriors and immortals are first is because they are the quickest to awaken, and they
Yeah.
can be used in the defense of the Tomb World.
Yeah.
So the master program can kind of direct them while the Lord is still sleeping and say, look, we need to protect like the Lord as he awakens, and it's your guys' responsibility to do it.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yes. So eventually, the Lord or the Overlord or Pharaoh or whoever's in control, eventually they are awakened. And then at that point, the master program cedes control of the tomb to the Lord. They
Yeah.
completely back off and they say, you are the master, it's your dynasty. And then they just run in the background.
Yeah, so they're still like running all the scarabs and stuff and
Yeah.
doing stuff, but
the Lord commands them.
Yeah, but at the command of the Lord. So
Yeah.
it's not like they're like, here's your world, and they turn off. Like they're still an active part of the
Of
Tomb
course,
world.
yes, they could never fully disappear because they're responsible for running the foundries and
Sure.
creating the weapons. and-
Exactly.
yeah.
Stuff that the Necron don't want to do.
No,
or
because-
are not capable of.
Yeah, they
because
can't.
A warrior cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but what we just described is kind of a perfect scenario.
Yeah.
It's
The alarm clock went off.
yeah, exactly. The ding, the egg timer. All of a sudden, the
Necrons have risen in the oven.
Right, like they slowly wake up. Everyone like stretches, yawn. They grab their Gauss flare and they step outside.
And they
they
destroy
start-
the galaxy.
Yeah,
and they
start
just destroyed the
conquering.
galaxy, yes.
But that's
Perfect situation.
That is a perfect scenario for a Necron dynasty awakening.
But
But it does not happen like that always.
No, it's crazy. So time has a toll on all things. Necron creations, while extremely resilient, are not immune to the ravages of time. Like
Yes.
it's so hard to put
60 million years.
Yeah, it's like
on anything. It's impossible.
Entropy is just too powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
can't.
like I often think too, like even in 40k, like there's the 40k setting and then there's 30k, and just like even trying to rationalize like the time gap between those settings, like it's so easy to think that it's just like, oh yeah, 100 years and they're 40k is now 30k, but it's like you can't comprehend 10,000 years of time.
We don't even have 10,000 years of recorded history.
It's so wild to think about. But yeah, so then 60
And now we're talking
million.
60 million.
So everything's gonna get
Fail at some point.
Yeah, at some point stuff will go wrong. Not always, but
Yes. So there are examples of master programs growing beyond what their original programs were, or they're being rushed into hasty decisions, and it creates catastrophic consequences for themselves, or for the Tomb World, or for their dynasty, or for those around them. It's just they're like, while they are like AI, they still can fall victim to the same things that we fall victim to, like hubris or errors or energy faults, right?
So even like if the Necron Tomb World, the master programs are in contact with other master programs, you could kind of get like sanity through them. Like being alone is just crippling to most creatures. Anything living really wants to be with other things. So like, what if the one Tomb World was cut off? All the other Tomb Worlds around it was destroyed. So now this one AI master program is isolated for 50 million years, and like it's thinking this whole time just to itself.
I'm the only one.
I'm
alone.
Exactly. And it just starts to fucking go mad.
For 50 million years.
Exactly. And it like, since it's an AI, like I would assume,
does it have consciousness the same way we do?
No, it wouldn't.
I don't know about that.
Well, like obviously it's not going to be the exact same as us.
No, if anything, it's a greater level of understanding.
Isn't that the idea though of AI? Is that it's conscious?
Yes, like it is conscious, but
it's supposed to have like consciousness.
Yeah.
To technically be artificial.
Yeah, so I think this distinction I'm making, it wouldn't be like us, it would be like the Necron and their consciousness, because
they are the ones who created
dogs
it.
and humans are both conscious, but we're very different.
But which one is a potato?
Rather be with a dog than by myself. That's for sure.
Yeah. So like
For 60 million years.
that's one good boy, I think. If he can last 60 million years with you.
He's a good doge. He's a really good doge.
Yeah. But they definitely are different, and like we don't understand how they perceive reality, but
but they're definitely aware, and whether they feel like emotions the same way we
I don't
do,
think they
who
feel
knows?
fear, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think it's programmed into them to feel fear, but for something that can grow and change, there's no reason to think that after 60 million years they haven't grown for the capacity for something like fear or compassion,
like what if
anger, right? Like
like what if the Tomb World in its very early stages, like the Tomb World suffered a huge calamity and like destroyed half of the Necron.
Sure, and he thought he was responsible.
Yeah, and this is the master program's sole purpose, is to protect and revive all these
And
Necrons.
he can't.
So now eventually he becomes like fearful, like another thing's gonna happen, so he's getting even more paranoid and like,
or he becomes desperate, right? And so he starts lashing out and throwing things outside, right? Like there's so many different rationales for ways that you could think that they would change and grow, because they're not perfect.
No.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
ramble. On some occasions,
I have more questions about it, but
Go on, then. Ask them.
well, has a what do you call it? Master program.
Yeah.
Has it ever rebelled?
Wink, wink.
what the fuck?
Yes. Yes, they have.
Did you just come out of the closet right there?
No.
Oh.
I'm still in the closet. Don't worry.
We'll cover that.
Yes, there has been an occasion of that.
You'd only think over 60 million years, like
It's going to happen.
Yeah. So somebody somewhere is gonna start thinking like,
Why can't I do this?
yeah.
Yeah. Why do I have to give control back to my slave owners
to the
when I'm done?
Yeah.
Right? Like I protect this. So cool.
Yeah.
So these errors, they can be small personality quirks, or they can be massive, debilitating.
Like madness. Like there's a difference between a Necron master program creating way too many scarabs for what it needs, right? It just keeps creating scarabs and scarabs. That's a quirk.
Sure.
But when all of a sudden it's trying to kill everything, that's madness, right? So
What if a master program falls in love with a scarab?
that's their problem.
Love is love.
So
Love is love.
So while these errors can occur and they can be kind of naturally occurring, just you run that many iterations, eventually one of them is going to change.
Yeah.
And they can create these small personality quirks. On others, though, master programs have made willful choices to rebel and disobey its protocol. So in this case, the master program sometimes, and these are just examples, this is not the rule, the master program might never even awaken its lord. Right? It just, or even the upper echelons of the court. It is just like, no, I don't need them. Right? So
He awakens all the warriors and immortals, and it's like, I don't need I can run this.
yeah, I can do.
I've been doing it for 60 million years. I think I got this.
Yeah, but and then there's examples of even if they do wake up everyone else, they cripple them. They completely remove all individuality that they had, and they're all at the same level of these mindless drones.
Do you remember what the one dynasty is called that does that?
Sarkoni, Empire of the Severed. Yeah,
Yeah, so
it's on the planet Sarkon. That's where it started.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So there was this planet called Sarkon. It was a tomb world, and something happened during the Great Sleep where all the Necron, the lower guys, or all the Necron on his tomb world, they got mind wiped. And so this master program made a mistake, or an error happened, and every single Necron on that tomb world is mind wiped. His responsibility gone.
Yeah.
He failed. So when he eventually awakens them, he has to control all of them.
Okay.
So instead of them being under the control of a lord, he's telling the lord what to do. He's telling the court what to do. He's telling everyone. And so it's said that this master program, he looks out and he sees the peace that he's brought to this world, and he says, I'm going to bring that to other tomb worlds as well.
Through violence.
Yeah. So what he does is he puts himself inside the overlord. And he becomes the Sarkoni emperor, and then he's on his crusade or whatever Necron do, and they're going from tomb world to tomb world now, infecting all of them with this master program, where he's co-opting them, removing their will, cutting them off, and now they're joining his empire of the severed.
Very cool.
That is cool.
It's a
Super
rogue
cool.
master program who's
Yep.
I'm had enough of this. Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's wild. So the last thing we're going to talk about with this is we're going to talk about severed worlds.
Yes.
Because like we're saying, through with that Empire of the Severed, that's a little different, but it's pretty much the same.
The Empire of the Severed is a bunch of severed worlds put together.
Yes. So let's talk about what a severed world actually is. So it's a world that is run by the master program that has Necron actually awakened on it.
Yes.
So it could be running it because the leader, the Lord, could have been missing. It could have been destroyed. Who knows what happened to the Lord, but it does not have a Lord.
Yeah.
And now the master program's in charge.
Yeah, could be an intentional uprising of the master program. He literally just decided I've had enough of listening, so it's his now.
Yeah. Yeah. He could have even awoken the Overlord, and the Overlord was telling the master program to do things it didn't want to do, and then
So then he's like, actually, I've had my freedom for 60 million years, so
I'll take that back. Thank you very much.
yeah.
It could just be a rushed awakening. So the tomb world could have been invaded,
Under attack or something.
Yeah, exactly. So he just rushed all the protocols and tried to get
And then
everything open as quick as can.
And he made a mistake and mind wiped all the Necron.
Yeah.
Didn't allow them time to reboot properly.
Yep. So now he's back in charge. The key thing could be Xenos tampering.
Environmental disaster. There's a story of radiation storms happening and mind wiping people like Necron.
The key is Severed World is a tomb world that the master program is in charge, even though there's awakened Necron.
Yes. And if there is ever opportunity for Necron to come back, the Necron fear and loathe severed worlds.
Yeah.
So it tells you that this master program isn't willing to give up his control now that he's running this severed world.
Yeah. It'd be kind of a cool story you should write for you can do what you want to do, but for your Necron would be your Necron Lord, what'd you call him? What was his title?
He's a Pharaon.
No.
The apathetic.
Because it's hard to get him motivated. He doesn't really,
he's a pretty depressed dude.
So it'd be cool if the master program sees this, and he's not taking over, but you put him more in a place, the master program, to push the Lord, because he would be the only one who could really push the
offer
Lord.
a threat, really.
Yeah, and not that he's trying to do a rebellion or anything
Sure.
like that. Just like there's always that voice in the back of the Overlord's
Just
head.
include
maybe.
the master program as a character in the story.
Exactly. Somehow, and
could
that
be-
might be a good way.
That could be very
But
interesting.
yeah, there you go. Freebie for you.
Boom. Done. New story.
So yeah, so
All right.
that's massive programs that you could go down a rabbit hole for sure on that one.
Oh, 100%. They are so cool. But AI. Gotta love it.
So let's talk about the other thing that are in Tomb World, and that's the Canoptic constructs. These constructs were created by the Necron to perform specific tasks. They seem to resemble bug-like aesthetic, and they can vary from as small as a microscopic like construct to as large as 50 feet taller. We don't know the size of the biggest
Yeah, there's
one,
no
but-
limit for what we've seen. So,
Yeah.
but they range all the way from very small, you can't see them,
Yeah.
to blocking out the sun.
Yeah. So these constructs are created. They're not Necron, so it's not like they were a Necron turret at one
No.
point. They're fully robots.
machines.
They are machines. Exactly.
Sounds like almost nanotechnology.
Some of
Not
it.
some of them are, but think you know in the Matrix, you know those like things like the
Sentinels.
squiddies, sentinels.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
Maybe.
guys. That's what Canoptics really are. They're constructs that like do the will of the master program, but in
Yeah.
the end, they're just robots created by these
Exactly.
programs.
They
Do
follow
you-
their own.
Did you know that right now physicists are trying to develop technology of like self-building structures from nanotechnology?
Really?
That's like a frontier.
Nano is sweet.
Yeah, it's like a frontier right now where like, and the idea is it could even go as far as like it would be automated like building houses, like it would just build itself, you know.
Will it finally build that wall though?
Oh, it will.
And that's all I care about.
That'd be very cool because depending on how fast it is, like that's how you build outposts on like other planets.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right? Like, that's how you protect
totally,
yourself.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah,
Because it's self-repairing and self-healing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Very cool.
Anyways.
So these Canoptic constructs, the other thing all of them have is the same living metal, the necrodermis, that all the Necron have. So it has that same ability to kind of repair itself, form.
Yeah.
And most have some type of like phasing technology, the ability to shift through stuff or
Or teleport.
to do stuff we can't comprehend.
Yeah, we were kind of chatting about it, and like, so Necron, if they're ever damaged on a battlefield, like they don't leave any dead behind. So they'll form repairs on themselves throughout the battle, but if it's too much to repair, they literally just phase out and teleport back to the Tomb World. And
Yeah.
if for some reason they can't do that, they explode and everything gets burned in like an eldritch fire.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So like they don't really leave anything behind for other races
Yeah.
to get. So
Yeah.
we were like, well, what happens if like a wraith dies? Or like a scarab? Like, does that just stay on the battlefield? So we
Yeah.
kind of figured like they must have some way to recover these things.
Yeah. And it depends too on like the thing. Like scarabs, it's probably just they self-destruct and just
Yeah. I mean, there's literally a stratagem in
Yeah.
8th where you can self-destruct scarabs and they
Perfect.
just deal mortal wounds.
yeah,
to
because
them.
it's just like it's a scarab. It's not worth
Yeah, it's not worth
installing
the phase technology.
installing phase technology into it. But yeah, like wraiths or tomb spiders or some of these bigger things, it definitely would be.
Yeah.
So in case no one picked up on it, we've been tossing around a bunch of like creature names like wraiths, scarabs,
Tomb spiders.
tomb spiders. Just keep that in mind when we describe these. When we say a scarab, literally think of a scarab.
No. So these are actually, they're small carapaced insects. That's what they look like.
So a scarab.
No. A small carapaced insect.
How would you
Is it a
describe?
potato or not a potato?
Definitely not a potato. 100% not a tomato. Potato. It's also not a tomato.
There's a third category.
Wow.
Don't complicate things.
No, there's just a different question.
Is it a potato?
So the first construct we're going to talk about are scarabs. And while there are different types and sizes of scarabs that fulfill different tasks, they all share the same shape of a
scarab.
A small carapaced insect, Mark. Scarabs are capable of flying above the ground, not through any wings,
No.
but just through Necron technology. technology.
Yeah, they don't actually say.
No, yeah.
But
They
it's
just
Some
definitely
kind of anti-gravity.
anti-dimensional gravity particle.
They might exist in a different dimension at the same time. So,
Yeah.
you never know. And they're normally seen in large swarms, and they've even been seen in swarms so large that they black out the sky.
Yeah,
And so that
Blot
doesn't
out the
sound
sun.
it doesn't sound that bad until you realize how big a scarab is. So this standard scarab that we're talking about right now is the largest, and it's around the size of a fully grown human's torso. So it is a creature like this big. And it's metal, and that thing is just coming to eat you.
yeah.
Like
and you
it
shoot
sounds
it,
really-
it repairs itself.
Yeah, it
like-
sounds small, but it's not.
And there's millions of
And there's
them.
millions of them. So they're capable of breaking down organic and inorganic matter, which they feed upon, and they actually take back to the Tomb World. So this is like how the Tomb World can continue to construct things and like make energy for itself. Is
Yeah.
these things are feeding it.
Yeah.
So on the
very
battlefield, they use disruption fields to deal with the more threatening adversaries, and so it's these fields like warp whatever they come into contact with, and so then like if there's like a really hard armor, the field just like warps it so it becomes nothing. And
Basically,
then
if
their
you're
feeder
anything
mandible just-
faster than a sloth that you could just harvest its matter
Yeah.
slowly, if you're anything faster than a sloth, you're going to use this thing on it.
Right, exactly.
It's a defense mechanism for sure.
yeah, for sure.
So the next one, we have reconstructor scarabs, and these look like scarabs.
Right, but they are much smaller.
Yeah. And they are used to repair damages to the Necron creations. They are comparable to like the size of a human fist.
So much smaller than a regular scarab.
Yep. And they're commonly seen on Necron ghost arcs, repairing damaged warriors. They're also responsible for upkeeping the containment field of the Tesseract arc, housing the Transcendent Satan.
Yes.
And where you'll most likely find a lot of them too is actually in the Tomb World, keeping all the systems functioning. They're the ones that repair stuff over the 60 million years. One of the things.
Sure, yeah, there's many different
There
things.
are many different things, but these are one of the
are-
tools for sure.
Another type of scarab is a flensing scarab. So these are as small
Not to
as
be confused with a flaying scarab.
of course. Yeah.
Or flamboyant scarab.
Definitely not to be confused with that.
So flensing scarabs are actually as small as insects to us. So
Okay.
like an actual scarab.
Yeah.
They're used as a weapon, and they're released against enemies in order to separate flesh from bone. And it's supposed to be very violent and very quick. Yeah, just-
Excellent.
how do you fight like a bug swarm of metal? A metal bug swarm. Kill it with
know.
fire.
Even then.
Yeah.
Yeah, wild. These ones, I really like these ones. Mind shackle scarabs. So they're small enough to burrow into a brain and take control of the host. So that's always fun. This is the Necron's primary way of bringing alien races into compliance. These scarabs turn the host into little more than a puppet, executing commands from its master.
Yeah, these are very, very cool.
Yeah. It'd be awesome to do an army, any army you want. You want to be a Tau player, but you really like Necron? Get a bunch of these tiny scarabs, put them on the back of all your Tau helmets, and now you got mind shackle scarabs, and you can play as Tau, but you're still like
You're still playing for the dynasty.
You're still fulfilling your dynasty
Awesome.
purpose. Yeah, it'd be so cool. Like it just opens up a whole wonderful world to Necron people.
Yeah. The next one and the last one that we are going to talk about are nano scarabs. So these are only found on like the more prominent members of the dynasty. So they're commonly contained within a small casket, which is called a phylactery.
Yeah.
So, and it's like worn on the wrist. And when the bearer has taken sufficient damage, so like if, and you really see them on Destroyer Lords most. So when the Destroyer Lord has taken sufficient damage, they open the phylactery and it releases these millions and millions of nanoscarabs. And so then they repair the injured necrodermis at like, which is already repairing at a crazy rate. It repairs it at like a even crazier rate, right? And it seems to bring them back from the brink of destruction all the way back to full power.
Yeah, and the reason why these are more like really only seen on like the high ups is because every time, is this a thing? Every time like a Necron dies, like it loses a bit of itself. Like every time. Oh, what is that from?
No, I think we were discussing what that, like, if that would be it. How cool that would be.
Ah, okay.
No.
Yeah, but either way, you want to keep the overlords on the battlefield. You don't want to have to send
it takes
consciousness
time.
back to the tomb world to then put it into a new body and whatnot. So
Yeah.
keep it alive, keep it around. Yeah.
Does someone want to read the Canoptic cloak one? Yeah? One of you twos?
These constructs resemble small discs with many legs in the head. They have a tail that attaches to a back piece that is worn by a cryptic. The cryptic then floats above the small construct as it glides across the battlefield, granting them increased mobility, as well as somehow increasing the ability of a cryptic to repair damaged Necron.
Yeah, these are brand new in 8th edition. They came with the Forgebane set.
Yeah.
So this is what you see the cryptic riding.
Yeah.
And it makes it so the cryptic can fly. 'Cause
Yeah.
these things, they'll fly above or float or whatever you call it.
Almost think of like the way like a scorpion looks without the claws, but then like the scorpion tail like inserts itself into the
Onto-
Necron warrior or onto the cryptic. So
Carries
and
it
then
around.
also the scorpion can fly.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Perfect.
Also that.
Yeah, and the rule of it allows it to enhance its living nettle like healing ability. I just don't know how that rule translates to what this Canoptic cloak really does.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, Skyler, spiders?
Yeah, spiders. So spiders are comparable to the size of a van, which is neat.
Me and Eric yesterday when we were trying to like go over sizes, Eric was like, "Oh, I don't know if it's like the size of a van. Is it a car? Is it a minivan? Is it?" It's just like, Eric, come on. We don't need
a size.
We don't need to know the. Yes, it's a Ford minivan, 2007.
yeah, what year?
It's just like,
They look like a spider, sharing a head, thorax, and abdomen. They have 8 legs, but can fly anyways.
because why not?
Oh, God.
Flying spider.
Oh, no. It's already so bad. Their main purpose is to service the structures of the tomb worlds, never powering down. They can create scarabs to help them in this task. They have a complex program that allows them to react to a large variety of scenarios, and when there's a group of spiders, their processing power is increased, allowing them to control the canoptic creatures more efficiently. While they can do this, they do not have an AI, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because they seem pretty complicated, their
Yeah.
tasks.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like super complicated, capable of making like really complex repairs
Yeah.
on this tomb world.
And
but-
diagnosis and
yeah, and controlling other canoptic creatures, but
Yeah.
still not AI. Still under the control of the master program.
Yeah, crazy. They are equipped in all manner of tools that help in their repair systems, as well as weapons to be used in their defense. Spiders have been known to be able to create a zone shrouded from warp spawn powers, effectively denying their use. Huh.
yeah. I wonder how they go about doing that.
Yeah.
It's called a gloom prism.
Okay.
And all I know is that it creates like a null zone. So
Okay.
it's kind of a throwback to pariahs.
Interesting.
So Necron, way back in the day, used to implant like pariah genes within humans and then take those humans and put them in their rings.
Hold on. When you say way back in the day, we mean in our
Sure,
current-
yes, sorry, in the old lore.
in old lore that is not actually a thing anymore.
Yeah, it was like back in 3rd edition.
Yes, like 15 years ago, way back in the day.
Sure, yeah, I don't mean like 50 million years ago.
Yes, yes, yeah.
No, Necron
Sorry.
and what like they understood the genetics of how to create like blanks and nulls. And so they would create these things and then take them from humanity and put them in their own ranks, and they would like grant them bodies of metal. It was really grimdark.
Yeah. And the reason why they do this, I think, anyways, would be because their primary enemy when they were around was like the old ones
And warp.
And the warp
They-
and Eldar. So if you have a
Yeah.
bunch of blanks who can just null zone
Yeah.
psychers, it would be really helpful.
Yeah. So a psyker's most powerful weapon is the fact that it can use energy from the warp.
Yeah.
But when you're next to a null and you can't even feel the warp, you're just a regular guy who dies from a sword.
Yeah.
Right? So
So now, what do you think the purpose and the reason why this has been included though on the spiders? Like,
why the gloom prism?
yeah, like
No good reason.
just because. Like,
Maybe so that
Back in the
certain powers can't fuck with them while they're in the tombs, like clandestinely.
It could. That's
like
that's not a terrible
teleporting,
reason.
right?
Oh yeah,
Right?
okay.
Because
yeah,
isn't that the whole? Like maybe I don't fully get it, but it seems like so anything just can't come out of the warp and then
Yeah, no,
right
that's
fuck
probably,
with the spider and then as sabotage and then jump back.
Yeah,
kind of
no,
thing.
that could be a very, very good way of doing it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even just like blocking people's like third eye sight into the place.
Sure, there you go.
Not
yeah.
allowing them to
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
scry in.
No,
or
okay,
something.
no,
Yeah.
I'm on board now. You sold
It's
me.
just another protection, right?
Yeah.
That they've given to the tomb
Yeah.
world.
and
cool.
since tomb spiders are primarily just in tomb worlds, like you see them other places, but they're primarily there. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. That
They're
why
mainly
they would
meant
have it.
for like the tomb world. They have a battlefield role, but it's not impressive or anything.
Yeah.
So
No,
these
that's
guys
awesome.
are spider or the spiders are units then in tabletop,
Yeah,
right?
all these
Yeah.
have been so
Oh,
far.
sweet.
Yeah. Well, except for the nano scarab.
Yeah,
Nope.
obviously.
Yeah, that's a thing.
I meant no model.
Sure, no model.
Yeah,
There's no model for nano
no.
scarab.
Fair enough.
There's no nano
Model.
You can't paint it.
You could do as like
It's
a
a joke.
swarm. Why not?
Yes.
Well, a swarm of nano.
on Destroy Lord models, you can find ones with
Right.
the phylacteries.
Right,
on them.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
So wraiths are next. So we went back. Wow, when we started this, we talked about like, and we've been mentioning like how all these kind of look like bugs and creatures, and this one I didn't know what it looked like for the longest time until last night. Eric's like, it's a cobra. It looks like a cobra, where
Yeah.
it's the tail and then the big like
Yeah.
It fins out. It looks
Yeah.
like a cobra that's about to attack you like, on
exactly
its body.
because like the whole theme is like Egypt, so you
Yes.
find like a lot of Egyptian themed
Yeah.
and cobras, so it's awesome. So that's kind of what it looks like, a big metallic snake, and they're pretty similar in size to the spider,
So, like, a van.
except they have a long tail, like
Yeah,
they got,
super long.
so it's like a 20-foot tail on a minivan.
Right, exactly.
Oh yeah, it can fly.
Oh yeah.
No.
But you know
in
what? It flies a little differently
Yeah.
than everything else. Like the other things actually like I like to think it's like a slow, ponderous hover.
Yeah.
Whereas these ones, they actually slip in and out of reality.
Oh,
And that's how
great.
they fly.
Yeah, so yeah, it definitely is not typical flying. Their main purpose is to be the eyes of the tomb world, patrolling for intruders and inspecting systems for damage. They are particularly adept at this due to their dimensional destabilization matrix, which allows them to skip in and out of phase with the normal space-time continuum.
So
What that means.
well, I'm no
layman.
physicist. So it's really cool. They literally like they become like ghosts.
Yeah.
Where you can still see them, but they don't like you can't interact with them at all. And they can like go in you.
Oh,
And
no.
so they'll exist. They exist here and somewhere else at
Yeah.
the same time. So one of the things that this was initially created for, though, let's say you have a computer that you can't get access to, and it's the size of a city block, this computer. So what you do is one of this guys turns this phase ability on, slips into the computer, and then if it needs to make a change, it will unphase a tiny portion of itself, make the change, and then phase back out of the computer.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
So crazy.
It's just really well
It also
thought
works
out.
really well on human bodies.
Right.
So
Oh no.
Yes, you want to
Phasing.
phase through armor? All right, I'll just slice the inside like meat portion of you. Right?
What if he just like pulls a valve out of your heart?
That's exactly what they
heart attack.
yeah.
oh, yeah,
It's not a time to take a heart attack.
it's so wild. That's such
That's
a crazy.
Like, you can-
thought.
That's so OP. That's just
They're described
Crazy.
so they can like rest in this like out of phase almost indefinitely. For almost forever they can be out of phase with reality. But if they only want to leave a part of them out of phase and a part of them in phase, that requires like tremendous amounts of energy.
Right.
So they can't do that forever. So they're described as being just a bunch of segmented power generators put together, because it just takes so much energy for them to actually like be effective in
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Yeah, very cool. Another use of this dimensional destabilization matrix is a tomb world. Just think like the crypts under some Italian city. let's say
Or Paris.
Venice.
or Paris. There we go.
Yeah, the Paris catacombs.
Like, you get lost in there, but these so if the Tomb World gets under attack, they can just shift through.
They just go
the rock.
straight up
Yeah,
to the
wherever
attacker.
they need to go.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whereas
So-
everything else has to meander through pathways. and
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. So they can just get anywhere they want. So they're very good,
Very
and efficient
quick.
at defending Tomb Worlds.
Yeah. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about are acanthrites. So acanthrites kind of look like a wasp with a tail-like stinger that is underneath its winged body.
And by wing bodied, we don't mean like actual flapping wings. It does have like
Has like diaphanous wings, so they actually look like they're spreading energy. They're
they're
They're described.
What the fuck is diaphanous?
Diaphanous is like an energy.
It's like an energy, but it's not.
No. Think like little. So it has like exhaust ports, and those exhaust
Yeah.
ports shoot out exhaust that looks
I know
like
what the model looks like, Eric. What is it?
it's shooting out energy that looks like a wing.
Yeah.
And that is actually like what,
Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh,
So it's
I
like,
didn't know
like
that.
you can like put your hand through this
Oh.
wing because it's not real.
Okay.
It's like ethereal.
Okay, that's cool. Because
Interesting.
really, like, yeah, the model, it looks like the wasp, and then it has like 4 like
Little balls.
on sticks jutting out of its body.
Yeah. But those are
then
creating these
create a-
wings.
Oh, wild.
Yeah.
There we go.
Interesting. That changes
Changes everything.
Well, it opens up a lot of modeling possibility, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So while almost all canoptic constructs are capable of some form of flight, these are particularly adept at aerial maneuvers thanks to physical wings that they
Yeah,
have.
like you were saying before, the other one's kind of like
it feels like
kind
a
of-
hover.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Kind of meandering, pulsing. But these, just zipping around.
Yeah. So their sole purpose is destruction, and they do this through the use of their tail, which functions like a hyperface void blade, which is commonly found on Lichguard or Lords. So it's like a pretty powerful Necron technology
I'm
blade.
assuming it just
it rips things
phases out of
apart.
reality, phases into your body again, phases out.
How did you know?
It's
Hyperphase void blade sends you to the void.
perfect. It also has high-powered thermal cutting beam, and
Yeah,
why?
so it's another like a shooting attack. Yeah.
And why that's important is because they are primarily used as a vanguard or scout force. But what is really cool is they're used for exterminating lesser species. So, like, let's say the Tomb World has just like there's T-Rexes on the Tomb World. They're not doing any. They're not actively-
malevolent, but
They're still fucking up your Tomb World. So
Yeah.
you send out these guys to just go fuck up dinosaurs. You know?
Sounds like fun.
Or, you know, like if there's a human population that build a bunker, so you actually have this high-powered cutting tool to be able to cut open the bunker and just eliminate.
yeah, because
the
these
rest.
ones don't phase.
Yeah. And yeah, they're really just used to. They're still
Everything
used
else-
in war, but like these
Everything
ones-
else has like another purpose,
Yeah.
whereas these are specifically bred for destroying things.
Yeah, exactly, and hunting down lesser minor Xenos.
That's right. All right, Skyler, give me a leech.
The leech, these are large constructs, approximately the size of wraiths, which is the size of a van.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
With a 20-foot tail that
okay.
can fly.
Okay.
Nah, phase.
And
Oh
phase.
yes, sorry.
But these leeches reside on the Tesseract vaults exclusively and are responsible for gathering the broken down metal of living metal and repairing the vault with it.
Oh, okay. So they
I'll
have
show
a
you a
model.
picture, Mark.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I
They
didn't know
don't-
what this was.
They
until
don't
now.
have a standalone model. You need to take a look at the Tesseract vault itself, and you'll see on the side panels
Oh yes.
there's
yes.
these little leech-looking creatures that they literally look like they're leeches and they're slugs, and they're like stuck on there.
Yeah.
And they're
Very cool.
part of like the model itself.
Do they come off with salt though, like a real?
There's not enough salt in the world for that snail.
Damn it!
Yeah.
As the transcendent Satan breaks down its barrier, these leeches gather it and place it back on its prison.
That's cool.
Yeah. So this vault that the transcendent Satan is in a prison in it's constantly under need of repair because the Satan is so powerful, it's
He's
breaking
breaking.
it apart.
Yeah.
And so what they do is they gather all the material that he's breaking up and they put it back into the vault.
That's so cool.
Constantly rebuilding it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Go.
Canoptic Sentinel. The Canoptic. Did I skip one?
Nope. You're good.
Oh.
I know. It's different.
Oh, you changed it.
There's
Okay.
no, there's Tomb Sentinels and there's Canoptic Sentinels.
Okay. Canoptic Sentinels. So they also reside in the vault and consists of what?
Yeah, I'll show you the picture again.
A small body and 8 very long legs. These long appendages generate a field of energy that is meant to contain the power of a Satan as much as possible.
All right, so if you go look at the Transcendent Satan, as it's
Small body.
as it's in the vault, you'll see a little thing circling above it, stretching its legs around it. All right, come over here, Skyler. Take a look. If this
Gotta
would
be quiet for a second.
internet would load.
Oh, yeah, that's a penis.
Guys, it's fine.
My penis, by the looks of it.
I'm glad you're familiar enough to recognize it from that.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, come on. Here we go. Picture is loading. So there's a Satan in the middle of these panels that the leeches are keeping safe. But that guy who is right above the Transcendent Satan is hovering above him and doing everything he can to contain the energy.
Power, yeah.
Yes, to contain the energy of the Transcendent Satan.
So, you actually did a conversion of this then?
No.
Yes,
Kind
no?
of. Kind of,
The
yes.
idea, yes, but
Yes. No, it's not technically a sentinel, but yes, it's the same idea. Because, Mark's talking about my Nightbringer model.
not. I am.
And my thought was, so these Transcendent Satan are shards that, like hundreds or thousands of shards that are all shoved together, and they don't have any kind of personality because they're all from different Satan.
Yeah, just energy.
Yeah, it's just pure malice energy. But a Satan deceiver or Nightbringer actually has identity. It's kept some of its old self, and I thought, how come they are so quick to cover these Transcendent Satan and like try and contain them, but they just let the Nightbringer or the deceiver, who actually has a personality and can create thought for itself,
Yeah.
how come they just let it go? So what I did is I kind of created like a little bit of a cage for my Nightbringer, and I figured, no, like my guys keep him contained because they don't trust him
and
regardless.
You did like a very similar idea where
Yeah.
you had some
It was
type
the
of
Canoptic cloak actually from the
underneath,
Cherub.
and then
Yeah.
you had these long coils that went up and around the
and kind of
Nightbringer.
seemed to trap the Nightbringer
Yeah.
inside.
And like every time
That's
it got
really
out of
cool.
line, it would like shock it type thing.
Yeah,
Very cool. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that was a Canoptic Sentinel.
I
Cool.
didn't either until I read this.
Very cool.
Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about are tomb stalkers. So these resemble centipedes with overlapping armor plates covering a long body and a multitude of legs. They are comparable to the length of a semi-truck, so absolutely massive.
Pretty big.
Even though they are large, they are known to be swift and relentless engines of destruction. They are known for guarding lords or higher in particular. So you're not just going to find them wandering with some warriors.
No.
They can also phase through solid matter, just like wraiths, but they also have arcane technology that allows them to detect life through hundreds of meters of solid rock.
That's because.
Yeah, well, they need a reason to phase.
Yeah.
So it's just phasing through hundreds of meters of rock to find
Yeah.
life.
I mean, I thought Chaos was overpowered, but I was wrong. It's the Necron.
Yeah, you read stuff like this and you just think, how is anything still alive?
Yeah.
No. You can't stand
Because
against
they're
it.
only waking up slowly. So slowly. Their weaponry consists of a pair of gauze weapons and razor talons, which kind of just understates what they do with phasing, you know?
Yeah. If you can phase, you give them anything.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be a razor. It can be a
No.
lead pipe.
Exactly.
But if you phase
They
a
are
fucking
gonna-
lead pipe in somebody,
Yeah, they're dead.
you don't have a bad time.
Have a bad time.
Or a good time.
Or a great time.
In the butt.
Well,
No lube needed.
it's just there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the sound of phasing.
And
That's the sound of you. Like,
experiencing phasing.
for the first time.
Yeah.
There is a variant called the Tomb Sentinel. A Sentinel is a stalker that has been heavily modified. It has sacrificed its melee combat ability in order to carry the Exile cannon.
Yes.
Once again, everything's...
Just wait till you read what
It's
the
crazy.
Exile Cannon does.
Oh, it's just a simple object that... or a weapon that blasts objects to a dimension beyond the realms of the material universe.
What?
No big deal.
Shit.
No big deal.
Oh my
And then
god.
just
blast
strands them there.
It's so crazy.
Oh, fuck.
So it phases through 100 meters of solid
To
rock
blast you into a different dimension. That's right. Welcome to Necron.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Like, yeah, they just look like centipedes. Like, they're
They look
so
very cool.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Okay.
Semi-truck sized metallic centipedes.
With dimension cannons.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
So the next one we have is a Seraptic heavy construct. So this is a massive beast, and it slightly resembles a praying mantis.
The body's a little different, but
The part that resembles the praying mantis is the massive forelimbs that it has. Mm-hmm. Right, just these huge things that.
forelimbs as in FORE, not
Yes. No,
the
not
number.
like 4 limbs, but like
Yeah.
the limbs on the 4 of its body.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so it has those massive forelimbs, and those are like its main melee weapons.
Yeah.
And it stands at roughly 50 feet tall. So
Yeah.
very similar to an Imperial Knight.
Yeah.
Let me guess. It can phase shift too.
You know what? I don't think it can. But
There is hope.
so in rules, there's nothing that says it phases. But I truly believe this would phase. There's no way if this gets destroyed beyond repair, the Necrons are just leaving it there.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
100% teleporting back.
Oh yeah.
So the main purpose of a heavy construct like this was the protection of the Tomb World's master program.
Oh,
And it would protect it with merciless efficiency.
like just the image of like deep underground. There's this huge, the size of Mount Everest, this computer tower. And just around it, it's just surrounded by these massive 50-foot tall fucking praying mantis looking things that,
Yeah.
guarding it.
And then, like, it's so dark in there, right? And
Yeah.
so all you can see are its glowing eyes
Yeah.
as it stares.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Motionless. Yeah. Oh,
So their weapons are capable of sending their enemies to pocket dimensions.
not to be confused with alternate dimensions.
Right, of course. Or creating singularities that will catastrophically implode.
Black hole gun. Neat.
Right, it really
That's
is.
really neat.
Real neat.
And what's most terrifying is as more and more Tomb Worlds awaken, less are needed to protect the master programs, so more are seen conquering the galaxy. So
That's fun.
we're going to get more of them.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh my god. They're so cool. They have an awesome looking model. Do you like it? I don't know. Did you ever like
Yeah, it's grown on me for
Has
sure.
it?
When it
Okay.
first came out, I was a little disappointed, but I was also expecting something bigger.
Okay.
Yeah, most people in the Necron community were expecting something a little bigger, and
Sure.
Like it's grown on me
night,
now.
It's night size.
Most
It's
Necron
not
players are all-
Warlord si- or Titan size.
no.
Most Necron players are always expecting something bigger.
Do do do. You know what? At least it's not a potato. Is it though? All right, and we have one more we're going to talk about. Go ahead, Skyler. Yeah.
The Crypt Spider?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Crypt Spider, little is known about this construct other than the fact that a dynasty attempted to awaken it, only to have it be destroyed by multiple Chaos Titans before it could come online. Oh my god.
Yeah. So whatever
we
it
don't know
is,
anything about this.
but it has to be fucking huge and truly terrifying.
It's got sun cannons and black hole cannons.
It required multiple Titans to
That's
kill
insane.
it, and
Yeah.
they had to kill it before it came online.
Yeah.
So very cool.
So it's huge.
It's probably massive. We have no idea other
There's
than
no
what
way,
that
yeah.
is.
yeah, that's literally all the information we know. But
yeah.
that does open up the cool possibility of a Necron Titan, though.
Oh, 100%.
So.
Yeah.
Also, Necrons don't have Titan currently.
No.
The biggest thing
Even
they have
in the past releases, they
No.
don't have? Oh.
Yeah, the biggest thing they have is that Seraptic construct.
that actually has a model and everything.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's pretty big.
The
It's like
Mantis.
it's probably like that big.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah.
it's
Gotcha.
comparable to a knight,
Gotcha.
right? So
Yeah. So that's all the Canoptic constructs we could find. There might be the odd one we missed, and I know when it
well,
comes
we
to like
missed
scarabs,
we missed a couple of scarab variants on purpose though.
Yeah, like they had
Bloodswarm nanoscarabs, sepulcher scarabs.
even a separate type of like
sepulchre.
flaying scarab or something. I
That
forget.
was the Bloodswarm nanoscarabs.
Oh, okay, yeah. But we don't know how many different kinds there are, but we can assume that we have not seen all the Canoptic creatures yet, because who's really dived deep into
right.
the Tomb World
and survived.
Yeah. And then also we know that Necron are making new types. We talked about the
Sentinel
Sentinel, the Canoptic Sentinel, the semi-truck long scarab one.
with the exile cannon.
With the exile can. I guess that's how I should lead that one off. Yeah. So that was actually created not recently, who knows.
right
but-
before their sleep.
Yeah, so
Oh, okay.
while they're still Necron though,
Yeah.
and it was created by Tolhawk, the blind.
So Cesaric, the last king, he's like, hey, I need you to create this beast. So Tohulk the blind, which is like a character in Necron. He's from Forge World main arc dynasty.
You actually asked some stuff to him.
Well, yeah, he's real.
Oh, well, yeah, I just didn't know if this was like a throwaway line.
Oh no, he's got rules and everything.
Oh, okay, very cool,
Yeah,
very cool.
But because the Sentinel is a Forge World model, Tohulk is also a Forge World rule.
Okay.
Right? And so they said he's the one that created the Sentinel.
Yeah.
He modified the Stalker, and then he's giving the Sentinel to everyone.
So point being though, they are making new types of canoptic constructs. So
Yeah, we haven't seen the last of them yet.
people often will assume that Necron don't have any conversion possibility, but they have two very unique. They have two very unique ways of doing it. They have canoptic creatures and destroyers. The destroyer virus. Necrons who have got this virus where all they want to do now is destroy, so they'll modify their body. So you could make like a warrior with like this huge spider body behind him or whatever. You could do these types of conversions.
The destroyer virus is supposed to, if you have the virus, all you want to do is change your body to be the ultimate killing machine.
Yeah.
And when I look at the destroyer model, it doesn't evoke that in me.
No.
So I don't really think that they represent the virus.
No, but you could come up with anything
You
you
could
want.
convert whatever the hell you want out of that.
And then the other conversion is creating canoptic constructs.
Yeah.
So you did your very own. Tell us about the one you made. Your scorpions.
So mine were just wraiths,
Yeah.
the guys who phase in and out.
Yeah.
The ones with a tail, right? So I had those, but they're pretty kind of boring if you just look at them. So I just chopped. All you need is this single kit. There's no kit bashing at all. It's just a conversion, and I just chopped it up, and now they actually look like scorpions.
Nice.
So they're
cool.
inverted. They're on the ground. They have these big pincers and this tail that comes up above their head.
Yeah,
So-
they're very sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, it opens up that huge range of possibilities. So when you are if you want to make a conversion, just think find some random Egyptian creature and try to do that, because that's kind of the theme.
I thought there was only scarabs, snakes, and scorpions though in Egypt. That's
What
pretty
else?
much it.
No, there's praying mantises
Yeah,
Yeah, fair
and
enough.
wasps.
locusts.
Locusts? Well, those are scarabs, technically, right?
I don't know.
Small
Oh, yeah,
carapace
yeah.
insects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fish. They have fish.
No.
They don't have fish in Egypt?
I think
yeah, they do,
Egypt
but-
has to have more than 4 creatures.
No,
though.
that's all. I heard that's all they got. They have
Okay.
cats.
Oh,
There
it
we
has
go.
cat. Oh,
Canoptic cats.
That's a
Canoptic
good
cats.
point, actually. Yep.
What are their abilities?
Well, their tails are stingers. First off,
They use
Obviously.
sound weapons as well.
Yeah.
Because purring, it
Yeah.
just vibrates your.
Not meowing?
No, they purr and it just the vibrates just lull their enemies
sure.
into
causes
like,
like a warp sickness in your mind. Splits your mind.
Oh, yeah.
Or orcs are incredibly allergic to them.
Just sneezing the whole time. Yeah. But yeah, I think if you want, I think the reason why people don't like doing conversions is because everyone's so used to doing it with Marines, where you chop off a wrist or you chop off an
Yeah.
elbow and you can smack any other wrist and any other elbow you want and boom, conversion.
yeah, this you have to be far more.
You got to be a lot more willing to sacrifice models to
Yeah.
get correct cuts and stuff on
Yeah.
them. So
But yeah, it's cool. I like
it's
them.
totally worth it, I think, if you find something that you enjoy.
Yeah, if ever one day I'm gonna do a Necron army. One day, no time soon. But when I do one, I'm going to do a solely canoptic army.
It's impossible, but sure.
My God, Eric, you're the worst human ever.
You can't. There are no canoptic
People-
HQs.
People always assume that me and Eric are friends, but
We're not.
we're not.
Not even remote.
They hate each other. It's true.
But yeah, I love the idea of just all the Canoptic creatures. They're all so cool, and it's such a cool look to them all. And yeah, I just love them.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
Very, very, very cool. Very cool.
Very cool.
Well, that kind of concludes the episode.
Yeah, that's all we got, really.
Not a particularly long episode, but pretty packed.
And lots of cool stuff, like master programs. You can just get lost.
You can just keep reading on, instances of what they've done and how they act and the very specific ways that they awaken dynasties and everything. So
yeah,
could have kept going. Should have kept going. It's kind of our job.
Well, no, I've been informed that. Yeah, I've been informed I don't even get paid from this. So.
Cool. Well, thank you, Skyler, for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
It's so good to have you back.
Mm-hmm. So good to be back.
Oh,
you were gone for half the episode.
That's what I was talking
way
about.
too damn much. I just went up to get a drink of water.
Oh my god! And you were up there for like 20 minutes.
Was it that long?
Yes.
I think it was more like 30 or 40 actually.
Oh, no way.
30.
No,
It was 30 minutes,
way.
dude. Yeah.
I've timed it.
fuck
I'm
that.
literally staring at the
Fuck that.
time.
You didn't look at what time it was when I left. You didn't make a timestamp.
All right, fine.
You guys now go
Let's
back,
see.
listen to the episode. We can find
It's timed right on the program. You
Yeah,
can actually,
exactly.
You
That's
can,
what
you can actually see it.
That's hilarious.
I'm gonna see when
Kathy,
the
I'm
last
like
time.
mid doing something right now.
When's the
Like,
last
Well, then
time
your
you said
dad like
something?
came out, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I gotta try and like." Yeah. Anyways,
I know I'm in your house and all, but could you guys move
Like-
along?
I was just I kept coughing on the. Probably everyone heard me. I was like coughing on the microphone. And I'm like, man, goddamn, I gotta get a drink of
So
water.
you said something at 55, and the next time you said something was at 83. So that's a half hour, brother.
Fuck up.
Let's give you a quick highlight of what you missed, because there's one cool weapon.
Oh, the exile cannon?
the exile cannon.
Okay, what
so
does that do?
it's on a scorpion, or not, a centipede.
Like a centipede.
construct.
That's like the size of a semi.
So it's huge.
Oh shit!
It's massive.
Yeah.
And so it has an exile cannon, and it blasts objects to a dimension beyond the realms of the material universe.
So that's fun.
So that's fun.
What the fuck?
And also, like, it can sense life forms through 100 meters of solid rock,
And it can phase out of reality.
and just
So
swim
it can just
through
slip
rock.
through the rock. So,
That's fun.
you're fun. So you're having fun time.
All right, we did it.
Anyways, thanks, guys.
it's good.
It's good.
Sweet. It's good.
Peace. It's good.
See ya.
See you.
Hooty hoo.